Once upon a time, in a world not so different from our own, there was a small town nestled between rolling hills and lush forests. In this town, there lived a humble baker named Joseph. Joseph was known throughout the town for his delicious bread and pastries, but what truly set him apart was his unwavering kindness and compassion for everyone he met. One day, as Joseph was kneading dough in his bakery, a stranger entered. The stranger had a warm smile and gentle eyes that seemed to radiate a sense of peace. Joseph welcomed the stranger warmly, offering him a seat and a freshly baked loaf of bread. As they talked, Joseph couldn't shake the feeling that there was something extraordinary about this stranger. His words were filled with wisdom beyond his years, and his presence seemed to comfort and uplift those around him. Before leaving, the stranger thanked Joseph for his hospitality and left him with a parting message. "And remember, Joseph, love thy neighbor as thyself, for in every person you meet, you encounter the divine." With those words echoing in his mind, Joseph continued his work, but from that day forward, he treated every person who crossed his path with even greater kindness and compassion, for he never knew when he might be entertaining an angel, or perhaps even a deity in disguise. As time passed, Joseph's bakery became more than just a place to buy bread. It became a sanctuary for those seeking solace and support. People from all walks of life would come to Joseph not only for his delicious treats, but also for his wisdom and understanding. One stormy evening, as Joseph was closing up shop, a weary traveler stumbled through the door seeking refuge from the rain. Joseph recognized the stranger immediately. It was the same mysterious figure who had visited him months ago. Without hesitation, Joseph invited the traveler to sit by the warm hearth and offered him a steaming cup of tea. As they talked, the traveler revealed that he had been wandering the earth, searching for glimpses of goodness and kindness among humanity. In that moment, Joseph realized the truth. The stranger was no ordinary traveler. He was none other than God, disguised as a wanderer, seeking to understand the hearts of mortals. Overwhelmed by this revelation, Joseph fell to his knees, but God lifted him up with a smile. "Arise, Joseph, for you have shown me the true meaning of love and compassion," as God said. "And in your acts of kindness, you have revealed the divine spark that resides within every human soul." And with that, God vanished, leaving Joseph filled with a newfound sense of purpose and understanding. From that day forward, Joseph's bakery became a beacon of light in the town, inspiring others to follow in his footsteps and treat each other with love and respect. And though the townspeople never knew the true identity of the stranger who had visited their humble bakery, they felt his presence in every act of kindness and generosity, reminding them that perhaps, just perhaps, God was indeed one of us, walking among them every day. But as time went on, whispers spread throughout the town about the miraculous events that had taken place in Joseph's bakery. People came from far and wide to witness the wonder for themselves, hoping for a glimpse of the divine. Some skeptics dismissed the stories as mere legend, while others clung to the hope that perhaps, just perhaps, God had indeed visited their town in the form of Joseph's mysterious guest. Meanwhile, Joseph continued his work with a renewed sense of purpose, spreading love and kindness wherever he went. His bakery became a symbol of unity and compassion, drawing people together from all walks of life. But amidst the whispers and wonder, a shadow lurked in the corners of the town, a darkness that threatened to extinguish the light that Joseph had worked so hard to kindle. Rumors began to swirl of unrest and division, fueled by fear and mistrust. The once close-knit community found itself torn apart by suspicion and prejudice, forgetting the lessons of love and acceptance that Joseph had taught them. As the darkness threatened to consume the town, Joseph knew that he could not stand idly by. With unwavering determination, he rallied his fellow townspeople, urging them to remember the importance of compassion and understanding in the face of adversity. And so, armed with nothing but love and faith, Joseph and his neighbors stood together against the darkness, determined to keep the flame of hope burning bright in their hearts. But what would become of their town? Would they be able to overcome the challenges that lay ahead, or would the darkness prevail? Only time would tell. As the days passed, the town faced increasingly difficult trials. The darkness seemed to seep into every corner, testing the resolve of its inhabitants. Yet, Joseph remained steadfast in his belief that love and compassion would ultimately prevail. With his guidance, the townspeople began to rediscover the strength that lay within their unity. They reached out to one another, offering support and understanding in the face of adversity. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. Through acts of kindness and selflessness, they began to push back against the darkness, illuminating the path towards a brighter future. Neighbors who had once been divided found common ground, and bonds of friendship were forged anew. But just as the town seemed on the brink of triumph, a new challenge emerged, one that tested their faith like never before. A great storm descended upon the town, unleashing its fury with relentless force. Homes were destroyed, crops were ruined, and despair threatened to engulf them all. In the midst of the chaos, Joseph stood at the forefront, a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. With his unwavering resolve and the support of his fellow townspeople, they banded together to rebuild what had been lost. Through their collective efforts, they emerged from the storm stronger than ever before. And as the clouds parted and the sun once again graced the horizon, the town stood as a testament to the power of love and resilience in the face of darkness. But the journey was far from over, and new challenges awaited them on the horizon. Yet, as long as they stood together, united in purpose and compassion, they knew that they could overcome anything that came their way. And so, with renewed determination, they set forth into the unknown, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead, secure in the knowledge that as long as they held fast to the light within their hearts, they would never be alone. As the town continued to rebuild and heal, a sense of harmony settled over the once divided community. Joseph's Bakery became a symbol of resilience and unity, drawing people from neighboring towns who sought to learn from the example set by its inhabitants. Under Joseph's guidance, the townspeople embarked on various initiatives to support one another and foster a sense of belonging. They organized community events, shared resources with those in need, and worked together to address pressing challenges such as food insecurity and access to education. With each passing day, the town flourished, not just in terms of physical reconstruction, but also in the richness of its collective spirit. People of all backgrounds and beliefs came together, celebrating their differences and embracing the common humanity that bound them together. But even as they reveled in their newfound unity, whispers of a new threat began to circulate. A shadowy figure lurking at the edges of town, spreading fear and uncertainty wherever it went. Rumors swirled of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena, leading some to speculate that the darkness they had fought so hard to overcome had returned once again. Joseph, ever vigilant, knew that they could not afford to ignore the signs. Gathering his fellow townspeople, he urged them to stand together once more, ready to confront whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, with hearts full of courage and determination, they prepared to face the looming threat, knowing that as long as they remained united, they would emerge victorious in the end. But what awaited them in the darkness? And would they have the strength to overcome it once and for all? Only time would tell. As the townspeople braced themselves for the looming threat, tension hung heavy in the air. Despite their efforts to remain united, doubts and fears gnawed at the edges of their resolve. Joseph, sensing the growing unease, knew that they needed more than just courage to face what lay ahead. They needed hope, a beacon to guide them through the darkness. Drawing upon the lessons of compassion and resilience that had carried them through their previous trials, Joseph rallied his fellow townspeople once more. Together, they embarked on a journey to uncover the truth behind the mysterious figure that threatened their newfound peace. Their quest led them deep into the heart of the forest, where whispers of ancient legends spoke of a power older than time itself. As they ventured further into the unknown, they encountered challenges unlike any they had faced before, trials of mind, body, and spirit that tested the very limits of their endurance. But with each obstacle they overcame, their bond grew stronger, and their determination burned ever brighter. For they knew that their unity was their greatest strength, and as long as they stood together, they could face any challenge that came their way. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they reached the heart of the forest, a place shrouded in darkness and mystery. There, they confronted the source of their fears, a being of shadow and malice, whose very presence threatened to consume them all. But in the face of this ancient evil, Joseph stood tall, his heart filled with a courage born of love and compassion. With a cry of defiance, he rallied his companions to stand with him, united against the darkness. And in that moment, something miraculous happened. the darkness began to recede, its power waning in the face of their unity and resolve. With a final burst of light, the shadowy figure vanished into the ether, leaving behind only a sense of peace and renewal in its wake. As the townspeople emerged from the forest, weary but triumphant, they knew that they had faced their greatest challenge and emerged victorious. And though the road ahead would surely be fraught with new trials and tribulations, they walked it with heads held high, secure in the knowledge that as long as they stood together, they could overcome anything that came their way. For in the end, it was not just their courage or strength that had saved them. It was their love for one another, a bond that transcended time and space, guiding them through even the darkest of nights. As they returned to their town, a newfound sense of peace settled over the once troubled community. The darkness that had threatened to engulf them had been vanquished, replaced by a renewed spirit of hope and unity. In the days that followed, the townspeople came together to celebrate their victory, rejoicing in the bonds that had brought them through their darkest hour. They held feasts and festivals, filling the streets with laughter and music as they honored the courage and sacrifice of those who had stood against the shadows. Joseph, hailed as a hero by his fellow townspeople, remained humble in the face of their praise. To him, the true heroes were the ordinary men and women who had shown extraordinary courage in the face of adversity, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness could make a difference in the world. As life returned to normal in the town, Joseph continued his work at the bakery, serving up his famous bread and pastries with a smile and a kind word for all who entered. But his heart was lighter now, knowing that the darkness had been banished and that his town was once again safe. Yet, even as they basked in the glow of their victory, Joseph and his fellow townspeople knew that their journey was far from over. For while the shadowy figure had been defeated, there would always be new challenges to face and obstacles to overcome. But as long as they remained united in purpose and bound together by the ties of love and compassion, they knew that they could weather any storm that came their way. And so, with hope in their hearts and the memory of their triumph still fresh in their minds, they faced the future together, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them on the road ahead. The seasons turned, and time flowed on, but the spirit of unity and resilience that had blossomed in the town remained strong. Joseph's Bakery continued to be a hub of warmth and generosity, where people gathered not only for delicious treats but also for the comforting presence of their fellow townsfolk. As the years passed, the town prospered, becoming known far and wide for its vibrant community and unwavering commitment to kindness. People from distant lands would travel to experience the unique magic that infused every corner of the town, drawn by tales of its triumph over darkness and the enduring spirit of hope that lingered there. Joseph, now an elder statesman of the town, watched with pride as new generations grew and flourished, guided by the same principles of love and compassion that had sustained them in their darkest hour. His own children and grandchildren carried on his legacy, spreading kindness wherever they went and ensuring that the flame of hope continued to burn bright in their community. But even as the town prospered, Joseph never forgot the lessons he had learned during their darkest hour. The importance of standing together in the face of adversity, the power of love to conquer even the greatest of evils, and the simple yet profound truth that in every person, there resides a spark of divinity. And so, as he watched the sun set over the town he loved, Joseph smiled, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bonds of love and compassion that had brought them through their greatest trials. For in the end, it was not the battles they won or the obstacles they overcame that defined them. It was the love they shared and the connections they forged, weaving a tapestry of hope that would endure for generations to come. And as long as they held fast to that love, they knew that their town would always be a beacon of light in a world too often shrouded in darkness. As the years passed, the town continued to thrive, becoming a shining example of harmony and cooperation in a world too often marked by division and strife. Joseph's Bakery remained at the heart of it all, its warm aroma and welcoming atmosphere drawing people from far and wide. But amidst the tranquility, whispers of a new challenge began to circulate, a threat not from without, but from within. Old grievances resurfaced, and disagreements flared into conflicts that threatened to tear the fabric of the community apart. Sensing the growing discord, Joseph knew that they could not afford to ignore the signs. Rallying his fellow townspeople once more, he urged them to set aside their differences and come together in the spirit of unity that had served them so well in the past. But the road to reconciliation was not an easy one. Deep-seated resentments and mistrust lingered, casting a shadow over their efforts to bridge the divide. Yet, Joseph refused to give up hope, knowing that the bonds of friendship and understanding they had forged were stronger than any animosity or division. With patience and perseverance, they began to rebuild the bridges that had been broken, reaching out to one another with open hearts and open minds. Slowly but surely, the wounds of the past began to heal, replaced by a renewed sense of solidarity and mutual respect. And as the town emerged from the darkness of discord, they did so stronger and more united than ever before. Together, they faced the challenges of the future with a newfound sense of purpose and determination, knowing that as long as they stood together, there was nothing they could not overcome. For in the end, it was not the trials they faced or the victories they won that defined them. It was the strength of their bonds and the depth of their compassion, forging a community that would endure for generations to come. And as they looked towards the horizon, they did so with hope in their hearts, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as one. As the town continued to flourish, Joseph found himself reflecting on the journey they had undertaken together. He marveled at how far they had come, from the depths of despair to the pinnacle of unity and understanding. But even as he reveled in their accomplishments, Joseph knew that their work was far from over. For beyond the borders of their town lay a world in need of the same compassion and cooperation that had transformed their community. With this in mind, Joseph embarked on a new mission, to spread the message of love and understanding far and wide, to touch the hearts of those who had yet to experience the transformative power of unity. Traveling from town to town, Joseph shared his story, inspiring others to embrace the values of kindness and compassion that had guided his own community through its darkest hours. He found allies in unexpected places, forging connections with people from all walks of life who shared his vision of a world united in peace and understanding. Together, they worked to break down the barriers that divided their communities, reaching across lines of race, religion, and culture to find common ground and build a brighter future for all. And as they journeyed onward, Joseph felt a sense of purpose unlike any he had known before. For he knew that as long as there were hearts willing to open themselves to the power of love, there was hope for a better tomorrow. And so, with each step he took, Joseph carried with him the light of hope, knowing that wherever he went, he carried within him the seeds of a brighter future, waiting to take root and blossom into a world filled with love, understanding, and peace. As Joseph traveled from town to town, his message of love and unity spread like wildfire, igniting a spark of hope in the hearts of all who heard it. People from far and wide were drawn to his words, eager to join him in his mission to build a better world. Together, they worked tirelessly, reaching out to those in need, offering support and solidarity to those who had been marginalized or oppressed. They stood up against injustice and inequality, determined to create a world where all were treated with dignity and respect. And slowly but surely, their efforts began to bear fruit. Walls that had once divided communities crumbled, replaced by bridges of understanding and acceptance. Differences were celebrated rather than feared, and the richness of diversity became a source of strength rather than division. As years passed, Joseph's hair turned silver, and lines etched themselves upon his face, but his spirit remained as vibrant as ever. He watched with pride as the world transformed before his eyes, knowing that the seeds of change he had planted had taken root and flourished beyond his wildest dreams. And as he gazed out at the world he had helped to create, Joseph felt a profound sense of gratitude and fulfillment. For he knew that though his journey had been long and arduous, it had been worth every step, every hardship, every moment of doubt. For in the end, he had helped to build a world where love triumphed over hate, where compassion conquered division, and where the inherent dignity of every human being was recognized and celebrated. And though his own journey had come to an end, Joseph's legacy lived on in the hearts of all those whose lives he had touched, inspiring future generations to carry forth the torch of hope and continue the work of building a better world for all. And so, with a smile upon his lips and peace in his heart, Joseph closed his eyes one final time, knowing that his work was done, and that the world was a brighter, better place because he had been a part of it.